So I'll just give a little introduction into what we're talking about this evening. It's not quite what I meant. So what is this? Is everything. It's all of it. There is nothing else. It's not coming from anywhere. It's not going anywhere. This is an appearance. It's everything. There's nothing lost. There's nothing to find. It's all. This is it. This is it. And it happens to be completely free. It's already free. There is no way to bring the freedom that this is about. And there's no way for this freedom to be lost. Whatever's happening is free. And in that sense, it's perfect. And that perfection has nothing to do with you. It's got nothing to do with what you think, feel, try, don't try, anything you think you've done, nothing to do with any of that. It's a perfection that is just without cause. It is already perfect. So the question, the logical question then arises, why are we meeting? What's this about? Well, what happens is, although this is complete, whole, perfect, as we've said, there's an experience that arises called me. An experience that I'm in the body. An experience that I have a past, a real past, that led to this, which will carry me into the future. And that this experience has a part of it, the experience that it's meaningful and purposeful. My life has meaning and purpose, and it's up to me to make it happen. And that meaning and purpose is to find the freedom that is already. And what happens is that experience of looking for the freedom that this is already makes it seem like it's missing. Makes it seem like one of the core experiences of the experience of being separate is something needs to happen. Something needs to change. I need to become, or the appearance needs to become, or the appearance is becoming with intention, the freedom that I look for. But really, I am looking for a freedom that I know. I'm looking for a freedom that I can have and own. And the freedom that we're talking about is not about you. It has nothing to do with you. That freedom, that perfection actually makes clear that there isn't a you. You, the experience that something needs to happen, the experience that you are separate from everything that is happening, is an illusion. So it won't stop. It never ends. That experience of being separate never ends. What might happen is it might be clear, it might be seen that there isn't a you. That there isn't anything that needed to change. Nothing needed to happen. This is already perfect.
I have a question.
Yeah.
That there is always freedom, or that everything is freedom.
Yeah.
Is this always apparent for you, or is it apparent that sometimes and sometimes it's not apparent? That's the way it is.
I wouldn't say always apparent. It's not, this isn't a conclusion that's been drawn.
Yeah.
It's not a position that's been taken. This isn't something that's known.
Who or what sees it?
Nothing.
what you're saying seems to make perfect sense when you say it, that's the recognition. And then I was thinking, the moment I walk out of here, it's totally forgotten.
Right.
And really, when I'm sitting here, it's forgotten just short after. It's like it's falling back into...
Yeah, but it's never been remembered.
No, but the recognition...
Yeah, it can't be remembered.
No, okay.
There's the experience of separation, the experience of I am, comes to the conclusion that it knows that it is.
Yeah.
And so it has the expectation that it's going to come to a conclusion that it's free.
Yeah.
Or that this is freedom. But really the freedom that's being talked about is not a conclusion. It's the revelation that there isn't one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's the moment when I try to grasp it somehow and get it.
Yeah.
That's when it
disappears. Well, that's the only time it disappears.
Yeah.
That's the entire experience of I am, is trying to grasp something. Whereas this can't be grasped. Not the freedom that this is, but literally what's happening can't be grasped. It's just new. The oldest thought is absolutely new.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
Because this is new.
I have another question. And some say that there is only being,
Yeah.
or there is only oneness. Is that in any way related to...
I don't know what they're talking about. They aren't words I would use.
Yeah.
So what this is, can't actually be said. So if that's what they're saying with that, then totally. And if not, then no. I don't know what to talk about, how to talk about other people.
Do you know why that is, that language, why it is so difficult, or why it's so hard to describe what this is with language?
It's not hard to, it's the fact that there isn't an object.
Yes.
The whole experience that the appearance is an object, a something happening, is a dream, which arises with the experience that I am a subject.
Yeah.
And it's that subject-object relationship that one wants or feels like the appearance, like this, needs to be described, needs to be understood. It doesn't. It can't be.
Yeah.
How was it revealed to you?
How was it
Revealed.
revealed? It wasn't. It was the experience of separation apparently stopped happening. And it's not revealed to anyone, so nobody wakes up. This doesn't have anything to tell you. The experience of separation feeds. It's constantly looking for something for itself. It wants to have another experience. And so it will suggest that that experience of separation is full now because it fed enough. It found what was missing. And that's not actually what's seen. What's seen is that this is empty. The need to feed, the experience of separation, was an illusion. That this is empty and there is no story to it. So it isn't something that this got. It was an experience that was revealed to be illusory. Because as we said at the beginning, this is already perfect. So there is nothing that brings that perfection about or changes it in any way. It's an illusion that something needs to happen.
I have another question. There's many questions here.
Yeah, go for it.
Sometimes when I listen to your message, there is a loosening and a sort of a dropping of a sense of authorship
Yeah,
from the actions from
Yeah.
my body.
yeah,
Sometimes it lasts for a few hours, and sometimes it lasts for a few days. And then that feeling of authorship comes back again.
Hmm.
And does that have any meaning?
No. No. And I don't mean to be pedantic, but it's not my message.
Yeah,
Okay.
of course.
Yeah. It doesn't mean anything because nothing does.
No.
The idea of the individual is that there's a process, like the lady before, that brought about the recognition here. And it sounds good that it falls away sometimes and then comes back, and then maybe it could fall away and then fall in. So this never or rarely tells its story about this, because there's no story about this. This isn't an accomplishment. The whole story fell away, the idea that this is the result of anything. This is completely new and perfect. That's the end of the story.
Are you saying that cause and effect fell away?
Real cause and effect. Real, the experience of what's happening is real or happening to someone. It fell away as a little dramatic, is seen to have never been true. Never happened. It was a dream.
But it still appears to be happening, right?
Well, there's conversation happening.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
There was a flight.
There was a flight, yeah, apparently. But not really. But not really.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but apparently.
apparently. Well, there's a memory of a flight.
Yeah,
That doesn't prove anything.
just like this conversation.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't prove anything. It's just an appearance. Meaning it's not real or unreal. It's what is and isn't, because it's not an object.
I guess often in the search, there's a trying to get rid of the appearance.
Yeah. The me will try anything. The me, that experience of knowing what this is, will think that what's being said here has something to do with it. And it will try to apply it to its life. Whereas what's being said has nothing to do with anything. It literally has nothing to do with anything. It's completely of no value and no information.
But we pay for it.
What?
We pay for it.
Yeah, it's your fault. Why do you think I stand out there? I just giggle. No, there can't be. There can be a real sort of inspiration hearing this. There's something that can hear this that isn't the me. And that's not a learning, it's not something that can be owned, it can't be applied, but there can be an inspiration. And just to be clear, the same inspiration can happen when a car goes by, or the wind blows, or your wife screams at you. The same inspiration can be there of this is perfect, It's already complete. It doesn't need anything.
I have to ask, your name is Newman.
I know, isn't that good? It's not even an artist name. I was born with it. It's predestined. God had already written in his book that I was going to be sitting up here.
Yeah.
That was a joke.
So is it just random, everything?
Yeah, well, yes. Yeah.
What's the question?
Was it just random? Is this just random? Yeah. Yeah.
Everything is just random.
It's just random. Free. Yeah. Yeah. Like inconceivably free.
What is understanding?
It depends. If it's understanding how the car works, that's understanding how the car works. If there's the dream that one understands what this is about, it's a dream.
So where does it come from?
Nowhere. This doesn't come.
Like
No. This is the beginning and end.
the words that you're saying.
This. That's it.
The words that are coming from
Yeah.
in this moment.
Absolutely.
Just random.
Not even a moment. There's not even a moment.
This internal.
Eternal's a little too much.
What do you call it? What do you call it?
This can't. I mean, you could say infinite, you could say absolute.
Yeah, but the words coming right through
Yeah.
the mouth.
Yeah,
doesn't-
table, glass, words, body.
The words that you're sharing with us.
Yeah, that's all. I'm not.
They
It's
don't-
all the same.
They don't seem random. They
It's
seem,
all no thing happening. Yeah. No, this doesn't seem random either.
You don't like the word message, but whatever. Like
Yeah.
what you're sharing.
Yeah, I'm not, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah?
The
It doesn't
sharing-
seem random.
The sharing happening
Yeah, totally.
doesn't seem random.
No, it doesn't.
It seemed like a pattern, like some
Yeah.
things you said before.
That's right.
You're saying them again.
Yeah, and the table looked the same yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I'm more interested in like the sharing. Like,
Yeah.
It seems like there is something coming back.
A pattern.
A pattern. Yeah.
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 No.
What does that mean? Well, I don't know. What does that mean? There seems to be a pattern.
That it like there's some organization. or
Yeah,
something.
no.
I don't know.
No, but it does seem to be a pattern. Absolutely, there seem to be patterns.
Because you're saying, like, if you watch your videos, you said some things many times.
I know, the same thing over and
Yeah,
over and over.
that's a
I know.
pattern, right?
I know. Only apparently,
Yeah.
it's chaos patterning.
Okay.
Yeah. Or freedom. It's freedom appearing as a pattern. It's freedom patterning. There's not. I guess what you're getting to is there's nothing behind this.
Right.
There's just nothing behind it. There isn't a behind it.
Right.
Yeah. And I guess if we go further, the experience is that there's some mystery or some answer somewhere else that would explain what's happening, and that so it could be understood. And this can't be understood.
Or that you are that.
No,
Not
there is
that.
only that,
Yeah. Yeah.
or this is that, or
that
whatever.
that is expressing.
But the table's the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but there isn't a that as an energy outside.
No.
No, this is no thing. Same as the words are no thing. Are the inconceivable wording. This is the inconceivable tabling. And it's not two separate things. It's not the inconceivable becoming a table. The table is literally inconceivable. Tabling.
It's very hard to say these things, but like the sharing itself.
Yeah. Is the inconceivable sharing. There's nothing behind it. It doesn't come from anywhere. It's not really happening. It's just appearing. It's less than an instant. The whole concept that there's a story to it is a dream. That there's a reason or an explanation or an understanding.
I guess it's this knowingness that kind of...
But it isn't. There is no knowingness. That's the dream.
But you seem so certain in what you're saying.
I know, but there isn't any certainty.
No?
There's just no doubt. The individual thinks that what this is saying comes from what it thinks should happen. Something has been known. There's a conclusion to the story. Because I need certain answers, and the search will only end if I get certain answers. But the answers never happen. It's the questioner that's the illusion. The expectation that there are answers is just part of the dream.
Do you think that the sense of me and the sense of separation has any relation to some physical process that is happening in our brain or in our body?
As an explanation, you could do that, but it's just a story. There are some explanations like that.
Because if an explanation like that would be fitting, then there would be like an ability to connect, this falling away of me enabled in order to connect that to the stopping of some physical process happening in the brain.
Exactly. Because the story would then have to have a cause.
Yes.
And this doesn't have a cause. It's just an explanation. See, I could tell a story about the child being 2 years old. So when the child is less than 2, it doesn't have the experience of permanence. So if a ball rolls underneath the couch, it's never existed. That's why children often get upset when mom goes away, because she never existed. They don't have the ability to conceive of something that's not apparent, still existing. And around 2 years old, they learn, they have the experience of permanence. And I have sort of an idea that the experience of I am, might have something to do with that development in the brain of a sort of permanence. The ability to extrapolate something being real when it's not in my experience. Now that's a story. It's just a story. It's just this appearing as an explanation. It doesn't mean anything. Well, that's my guess.
So if a ball rolls under your sofa, it's not existing anymore.
Yeah.
It's not.
Well, it's actually not like that. It's just apparent that there is a memory of a ball that might be under the sofa. Nobody knows if it is or not either.
If it would be like that there is a physical process in the brain related to permanence, for example, then it would not be completely unforeseeable that sometime, maybe far away in the future, we can take a pill that stops that process in the brain.
I've heard there's helmets, enlightenment helmets. You can put them on and have enlightenment experiences.
Wow.
Yeah. But all we're talking about are explanations, and this doesn't really have one. So we can tell stories, But the story isn't actually the cause of this. It's this appearing as a story. And thereby using the story as a way to change what's happening completely falls apart. Because there isn't a back there to change.
Is there something that is not this?
Well, if you can tell me it, I'll be happy to take it into consideration. Go ahead, try.
So you're not saying there is something outside of this?
There isn't anything outside of it.
No.
No. And this
illusion
and this is not limited.
Illusion also.
So we're not taking anything away.
Uh-huh.
We're just making clear there never was anything else.
Yeah.
So thoughts of Yemen or of sushi still arise, but they're just thoughts of Yemen and sushi. They don't mean anything other than those being those thoughts.
But they're also part of this.
They are this.
The dreams are also this.
There's only this.
Illusions are also this.
Absolutely. There's nothing else.
Everything is this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is apparent. So it is and isn't at the same time. Meaning, it's meaningless. Can't get a hold of it. Nothing to know, nothing to have. Free.
So how is it even possible to talk about it?
Well, you can't, come on. I just keep saying you can't talk about it.
But you are.
No, I'm not.
No?
No, there's...
Well, this sharing, isn't it?
What's that?
This kind of sharing. I mean, I really appreciate it, but
Yeah.
it's very difficult because...
Oh, it's impossible.
Yeah. But you seem so certain. That's...
Oh, I know. There's no doubt. There's no certainty, though, because there's no position. There's no position to know anything about what's being said.
You have no doubt about anything. There
Oh.
is no doubt happening in this space.
Oh, there's sometimes on the highway. I'm not sure if it's at 130 or if it still should be 110. I can't remember sometimes. It's unclear. But about what this is, there's no space for there to be doubt. There's no one. Doubt is a what do you call it? An effect of belief. Belief. So the individual arises in here and seems to understand what's going on. But it doesn't know how to solve the issue of its life. And so it comes up with all sorts of beliefs about what this is about. Such as enlightenment. And how to get there. And those beliefs are doubt. Because if you knew, you wouldn't have to believe, you just know. But there's so much that can't be explained about the experience of being an individual. It's the gaps are filled in with beliefs that come through experience and conditioning and.
There's also the opposite, like not knowing, like the.
Yeah, that's not what this is. We're not talking about not knowing.
Like that from the limited.
Exactly. That's not what we're talking about.
Perspective, of
Yeah.
course, but it's.
It's another position. I don't know.
Like not knowing. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This isn't a position, it's actually the end of any position. The end. It's the revelation that all position is a dream. All knowing, as I am here, for example, is just an illusion. Everything we're talking about is absolutely obvious. There is no need for any reference to anything in the past, any memory about anything for this. It's just immediately obvious. There isn't anyone. There isn't anything but what is. What is everything, and it has no meaning or purpose. It's completely free. It's not coming from anywhere. It's not going anywhere. That's just obvious. Meaning without reflection. It's not an understanding.
It's just how to be a human being in all of that.
You never have been. The dream that you have been a human being.
Not being dreaming in the middle of this. No. The dreaming, the experience of dreaming.
It's an illusion. If there's an illusion of separation, then that's the only one. And when it stops happening, the revelation is it never did. It's a dream. There's no such thing as I'm being human. If you want to call this expression human and what it does human, that's fine. But I think what you mean is the experience that the human has a particular story. That's a dream. Nobody chooses to do that or not do that. It's just what seems to happen.
What about birth and death and the whole cycle of life?
Yeah, an appearance.
It's also an appearance.
Yeah. It's this arising as a memory of birth and death. The dream is that I was born, that I lived, and that I will die. That's the dream.
I believe that Tony has sometimes said that sometimes there is an opening for this message.
Yeah.
And I was just wondering, is there more to say about this opening? That
No. Because it's got nothing to do with you. It either is or isn't.
and there's nothing I can do.
There actually isn't a you.
Yeah, there is nothing.
Yeah.
So this experience that I'm speaking from is an illusion.
If there's an experience there, yes, that's an illusion.
I wouldn't know that, right?
What?
Would I know that somehow? No.
I don't know.
No.
What's being talked about here is only obvious when that experience falls away. So there's just nothing. You couldn't get more useless, or in another way, more intentionless than what we're talking about. There's no intention. We're not trying to find anything. I'm not trying to help you. This message isn't trying to help you. It's not trying to change what's happening or become anything. It's merely pointing out what is already. And that is either heard or not. There is nothing to learn or to take away or to understand. It's just not about that.
What about hope that comes with this?
That's the worst. Do you know? Have you heard of Pandora's box? So I didn't know this, but someone told me recently that the worst of the worst of the worst in Pandora's box, and Pandora's box was full of all the most horrible things. And she opened it. And the thing at the worst at the bottom was hope. Because hope's always not now, it's somewhere else. Hope is always somewhere else. No, it's hopeless.
So why this sharing?
Well, the question of why comes out of the experience that you know it's happening. You don't. Because there isn't an explanation of why, because there isn't an actual fixed point of knowing that this is really happening. Because it's not really happening. It only seems to be. There's no actuality to this. There's no substantiality to it.
So you call it a dream?
Huh?
You call it a dream?
No, the only dream is the experience I am. My story is the dream. Rises out of the illusion of the
It's
experience.
going on right now.
Is an appearance.
This is
Ungraspably already.
Uh-huh.
New.
And still you made a choice to fly here?
No.
Like make
No.
arrangements?
Nobody's here. Nobody came here.
How did that happen then?
It only apparently happened.
Yeah.
Mm.
But the appearance is part of this.
Yeah, well, it's all there is the appearance.
Right.
Yeah.
So sometimes it sounds like, so it's like second.
Yeah.
Second.
If you try to understand it, you'll always have to draw lines in the sand.
Just really trying to relate to the words.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I understand that, and you'll always have to make something. You'll always have to land on yes or no, because yes and no doesn't make any sense. Can't do anything with it. Has no value, and that's the suggestion. This no one can do anything with. There isn't anyone. It has no value. It is already what's truly desired. It's already that. Mm-hmm. So in that sense, it is not in relation to anything. It is already.
And what about your choices as a human being?
There isn't anyone here.
But you are making choices like...
Choices happen, but no one does it. And they're also just apparent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as you're...
Go on, nail me down, come on.
But it's like two things going on at the same time.
No, there aren't two things going on at the same time.
Appearing as two, but not.
Where's the appearance of two? There's only this. Where's the two?
It seems like there's also practical level to life. Like
yeah, that's the experience that I make decisions. That's a dream.
Like living the dream then, being.
Yeah, nobody lives the dream. It's a dream. There is what's happening.
Dreaming the dream.
There is what's happening. There's what's happening. There isn't anybody in it. Already. There isn't anybody in the dream. There is no dreamer. It's an illusion. But in the illusion, the experience is of having personal responsibility, free will and choice. It doesn't happen. It's a dream. So you can't find the answer to it.
So there is no subject in this.
There is no...
There is only verbs, basically.
Yeah, totally.
Only verbs.
Only verbs, which are no thing verbing.
Okay.
Or chaos, or anarchy verbing, or freedom verbing.
They talk... You could call it nothingness?
Totally.
Or you don't like that word either?
I don't mind.
Yeah.
Nothingness, somethinging.
Uh-huh.
Because there isn't a nothingness that someone could find.
Right.
This is nothing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or everything.
And everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything is nothing, everythinging.
Yeah.
Yeah. But not nothing becoming everything. This is no thing. Handing. Already free.
Yeah.
The freedom deepest desired, the perfection deepest desired is already. So you can't find it. There's only the experience of losing it.
But well, you don't like personal questions. Did your life... Does your life seem different today?
I don't have a life. You don't either. This is everything.
I still need to eat.
Right now I have cookies.
Yeah, but there is...
They've already been rejected once. Obviously they weren't the good ones. But there are cookies.
It's like a little part of your...
Well, the difficulty you're having is you think you've been doing it. That's an illusion. It's just been happening. This just happens. Nobody does it. There is nothing practical about anything because no one does it. It just happens. And that's already the case.
Everything that, the everything.
This is everything. And it's just happening.
Yeah.
You can't apply it. The dream that you can is just part of the illusion that this is an object in your perception. It's not. There isn't a you. No one sees this, no one hears this, no one knows this. It's just seen or heard. This.
Mm-hmm. So have you ever listened to Eckhart Tolle, for example?
Oh, goodness.
The way you shared it, like you don't.
We don't
Is that
need.
very different from your?
Well, the thing is he's a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And a teacher has something to tell you, which will help you to find something which is missing.
Mm.
So there must be here. What's been recognized is this is beyond conception perfect already,
Mm-hmm.
and that includes everything. So it doesn't have anything to do with you. You are the experience of wanting to find perfection. If that, we can call it whatever you want, but that's the experience. You can't. It is already.
Mm-hmm.
So anyone to suggest to you that you could, or that non-separation can be found, obviously is having the experience that there's someone who can do something about finding the perfection it is already. From here, there is no here. That's obviously part of the illusion.
Wasn't it more like the veil of illusion just disappeared? More like nothing really changed, but more like
Well,
the experience was different, like the illusion, like a veil of illusion.
yeah, you could say the scales fall from the eyes.
Right. Yeah. So I guess it would say the same thing that.
No, he wouldn't, or he wouldn't be telling you what to do. This has no intention of helping you
Okay.
because it doesn't see you. It doesn't even acknowledge that there is a you.
So how is it possible to relate to human beings then?
It just happens. Relating happens. Or it doesn't.
They're like ghosts walking around.
Well, you're doing it again. I didn't say anything about ghosts.
No, I'm just kidding. But
Okay.
you're in the human dream too, aren't you?
There aren't a we. There isn't a we. And there isn't a dream. When the dream ends, it never happened. The dream is that this is a result of something and will lead to something else. That's the dream. And so when that dream ends, it never happened because nothing led to this. And a teacher will tell you something did, and that you can do something about what's going to happen in the future. From here, that's part of the illusion. There's no here, but anyway.
Does anything change?
Apparently. But not for anyone.
No.
Hmm.
But there is change,
Alright,
change
alright.
happening.
Apparently.
This changes?
Apparently. But it's still no thing
Yeah.
appearing. So it doesn't really change. But it appears to. Doesn't it?
So everything is random?
Random.
So what?
Chaos. Anarchy.
So is there love?
Only. There's nothing but love.
So love is random?
It's all, yeah, absolutely. But not love as we understand it. It's unconditional love.
Yes.
Meaning something that means nothing to the individual. In the same way that this is already free and perfect, there is only unconditional love.
But you would call it benevolent.
Benevolent, that's a judgment about the appearance that it's a good, could be good or bad, that there could be a benevolence or an evil. That's just part of the dream of separation, that there could be something that could be not perfect. It can't happen.
So what is this love? What?
It means it's meaningless. You can't say anything about it.
Why even use the word love?
You did!
What's the question? Not the statement.
Yeah, I went with you.
Love is a tricky word to use in this sense.
Especially because everybody forgets the unconditional part.
Yeah. But still love has a positive sense, and if there's no...
Exactly.
If it's
And unconditional
positive,
love doesn't.
If there's nothing positive about it, like... why even call it that?
Well, because that's sort of how it's revealed. It sort of has that energy about it when that me falls away, of it being unconditional love. We're truly talking about what's most deeply desired.
Yeah.
Not from the individual,
Right.
but what's still most deeply. And love, that unconditional love, freedom, perfection, are things that are revealed. But you're right, to talk about it can be very confusing. Especially, and I'm not complaining about you, but especially because people just demand to get rid of the unconditional part. Or to miss the part that unconditional means the worst thing you can think of is also love, or unconditional love. Because the appearance doesn't have value in the way that separate experience has value, because that value is really in some way how I'm going to find the answer to my experience of separation, or my experience, my problems. The fact that my thoughts and feelings torture me, whatever. And the unconditional love being talked about has no value, not in that sense. It's unconditional.
Are there judgments going on?
So just correct ones. So the individual in its search has a belief or a story about what's going to make what needs to happen to find what's missing. And so it has a story about that, and that is then a personal judgment. So people that do that, what they think or what the story says, will help find what's missing. Those are good people. And if they all eat white rice and that's what helps them, that's good. And people that don't do that are then bad. And that judgment falls away. So there's no judgment on that level anymore about what the story is about and the right way to be or the wrong way to be. But there's still judgment about good food, for example, or good wine, or bad wine.
Do you get upset with people?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, I don't.
No, but there's an upset.
Upsetness can happen.
Often or a little?
It's constant. Quite actually, the whole story, the whole emotional, mental thing, it all sort of gets quieter because the whole story about what this is about is no longer there. Is no longer relative. So there's no longer getting angry at people because they're not being spiritual enough, for example.
I'm just seem to be increasingly angry with people being stupid.
Yeah.
That's worrying me.
You've got pretty strict gun laws in Sweden now, so we should all be okay. As long as no, I won't make that joke. If we were in the States, we'd have to have a conversation.
No, it's not that I want to kill them. It's just that I don't stand them. I just want to be away from them.
Yeah.
It's more of that. And that worries.
Yeah.
What about meditation? Not to get somewhere, but just to escape for some time?
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes when mind really tortures me, and say then meditation or going out to nature seems to be the only way to get away from it, to be a little bit in what is.
Yeah. Well, you couldn't possibly be in what is, but anyway.
Well, what's that happening? It's also something with the me happening?
Yeah, definitely.
So is it silencing the me for some time, or?
Yeah. When there's that experience of separation, the emotions and thoughts happen to someone. And so there's someone there who's taking ownership of it. And immediately there's an ownership of a thought or a feeling. It's then put into my story, which can be very complex, or actually very complicated. My story. And heavy. Because really, thoughts and feelings have no story.
What's presence?
I don't know what you mean. As a practice? Because it's just a word, I don't know what you mean. Because you could say this is presence, I wouldn't. But you could say all there is presence. But if it's a practice, or if it's something that somebody can recognize or realize or have, then that's not what we're talking about.
When I don't have thoughts
Yeah.
going on,
Yeah.
I cannot word it.
Yeah. So that's not what I'm not actually talking about an absence of thoughts. I'm talking about thoughts that happen for no one, or feelings that happen for no one. Because there's still thoughts and feelings, there's just obviously no one there to own them.
So then even presence is appearing as a perception.
Yeah. It sounds like it.
Yeah.
Jim, are there any traditions talking about this, or any
In the question of obviously not. Traditions talking about there being no tradition. Yeah. No. What happens is a lot of teachings say very similar things to what's being said here, and then they tell you what to do about it.
How to get there.
how to get there.
Yeah.
How to get to what is already. Yeah.
I have a question. Why? So, like, two questions keep arising, two ideas that there is a need to know what this is.
Yeah.
And there's a question that keeps asking, like, is this it?
Yeah.
Is this it?
Yeah. Yeah. There's only it. And it's not an object. And the need to know is a funny thing because the individual, that experience of separation that arises in the body, doesn't actually, but anyway. It's an experience of knowing. It's an experience of knowing I am. And initially it feels like I've got something. I know. Ooh. The problem is it's not the conclusion the experience says it is. Knowing I am is actually the need to know. It's not it's not fulfilling. And so it's a constant reaffirming I am. That's what I do. That's my job. I am, I am, I am, I am. I am, I am, I am. And that's the experience that this, or what we're talking about, needs to be known. Because it arises out of the experience that there's something that is already known. And there isn't.
Yeah.
This didn't find a conclusion. It's revealed there isn't a conclusion. There's no end because there was never a beginning.
Are there ways that...
No. But you knew that.
Yeah.
There's still a question. Are there spiritual practices that is more well-guided or more misguided, or
Did you just come in? Really, the message is, this is already perfect. The experience that it's not is an illusion. And it's included. It's over, dude. It's done.
Are there things that can happen that can hide this from you?
The experience of separation. And it's not hiding it from you. You are the experience of it being hid.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's perfect. Not for any reason. Just is.
Jim, can anything be lost?
Not really, because nothing's really had. But the experience of separation can be lost. But it doesn't really get lost because it never happened.
Not a real loss. Not a real loss.
Yeah, there's no real loss.
Yeah, because walking here, I had this thought, you know, like, well, I should turn around. No, but you know, there was this awareness that definitely nothing could be gained. But then the thought came, oh well, but I could lose something. And there was this moment of panic in it, like a second of panic. But then that thought came that like maybe it's just not really lost.
No. But that's just a concept. Yeah. Because as long as there's an individual, there's the experience that something's being lost or could be. Because the individual, that experience of separation, has the experience that it has something, that it knows.
Mm. That's what it could lose.
It doesn't lose that.
Yeah.
That is it. It's just an experience of knowing.
Mm.
And that experience could be lost, but it was never real. I mean, completely unreal. There's nothing real about the experience of knowing except for that experience. That's all there is of the reality of that. So when it gets lost, nobody lost anything because it was just its own dream. And nothing really happened because what's revealed is this is everything and it's not really happening. To no one. Revealed to no one. Just in case somebody was listening.
So when you say it's not really happening, you mean that it is happening, but for no one? Or...
That's one way to put it.
Yeah.
But it's really quite profoundly not really happening. It's happening, but not really. There's no substantiality to this. There's absolutely nothing that can be held on to. There's nothing fixed about it. It's chaos.
Yeah.
Appearing. The dream is that it's solid and real and I know it and da 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 da. Which is also chaos. Appearing is that. Or freedom.
Is that in the sense that there is no me that can have an impact on this experience or this happening?
Totally.
Yes.
It's not that there's no me that can have an impact. There's no me.
Yes.
Yeah. No one's looking. No one's hearing. I mean, it's really very simple what we're talking about. I know it gets a little complicated and a little airy-fairy, but really the deepest desire is for this, not these words in particular, but for seeing to happen without anyone, the simplicity of seeing without anyone seeing. Just the purity of what is without any sort of understanding or need to understand or knowing about it. That simple. Not anything in particular, but whatever's happening without anybody needing to know. That's what the deepest desire. That's stillness. That's freedom. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.